Greetings to you all. My name is John Delaney, and I have a remarkable story to share with you today about my life. As a young man, obviously I was at school, I was a pupil, and in South Africa, my first 2 years were spent in a private school, and then I went to a government school, and then in high school we trained all the subjects that we needed to do. We did school cadets where we marched. We knew that there was a war on in our country and that we needed to go and serve. So I was a scout as a young boy and went on many a camp and many a hike and had wonderful times. And that taught me. We went camping, we had a boat. So I had a very privileged upbringing, and we went off to these special things. But we always knew that we would be going off to the military. My brother was called up, my uncle, my dad's brother, and we all served. And I knew that for 2 years after school we were conscripted, and Russia had been fighting in Afghanistan and had moved all their equipment to Angola, and we knew that we were fighting communism in that sense, that for the first year we would train as soldiers, and then the second year we would go into combat. And I was called up to the infantry. My brother too was called up previous 2 years before me, and he had gone through being a Mirage aircraft engineer, and then he became a flight engineer with the helicopter gunships. And I was called up to the infantry. And after a while, these guys came around and during basics, and these were paratroopers. They had maroon berets, they had wings, they had jump boots, they had snake skin jump jackets. And I always knew that I wanted to be one of these guys. My cousin had been involved in the Kasinga operation in Angola, where they had killed 600 enemy insurgents in 4 hours. And so when in the infantry, when the paratroopers came around, I was fit. I'd always been in athletics, cross country, swimming at school. And I knew I was going to be a paratrooper. And a friend of mine came along with me from school, and we went and we joined up and passed the tests, the selection tests, and we would drive into these gates of this awesome battalion and knew that these were fighters, and we were being trained to be fighters. And so the first year we trained as different section leaders, scouts, radio operators, signalers, mortar crew, medics, all these different things, anti-tank weapons, drivers. And then they deployed us into Namibia, which is today was Southwest Africa back in the day. And we knew that we would have to fight and go into a war. Little did we know that we were going into the most serious war since South Africa had been in the Second World War fighting with the Allies. And so we arrived into the operational area, and we were fire force. We were quick reaction teams that would go out if the infantry had a contact with the enemy insurgents. We would then be deployed to go in and take the fight from them and do what we did best. So we were often behind enemy lines, and then by 1981 we were in the biggest battle in Operation Protea. We were the spearhead. We fought for 9 days in that battle theatre, and we happened to lose one chap in our missions. And so I met this amazing guy, Granger Korf, a boxer from Benoni, the other side of where I lived in the south of Johannesburg, and we became friends, and we went through our training together. We did a special force selection, and we realized that we were too young to be special force operators, maybe in future time in our life. But we walked out of Operation Protea together alive, and I saw Granger then 13 years later, after he had been in America and I had been doing my work in Africa. And him and I sat down and we shared our testimony, and we had a little chat. And I just knew that from that time onwards I would see him all through my life. And we did water jumps. We met in America, we met in Jersey, we met all over. And so after the military, I became a plumber. Him and I, Granger and I, decided that we were going to become plumbers, and off I became a plumber, an apprentice plumber, and served doing 9 years in plumbing. My life just wasn't sorted, and I had no peace, no love, no joy. And I found Jesus in my life. And in that, I became a missionary. I went off and became a pastor. So I was a pupil, a paratrooper. Now I'm been a plumber. And now I'm a pastor, minister of the gospel, going into Africa. I went back to Angola and I served those people and did mass open air gospel crusades, did work for food programs, did clothing programs, feeding programs. And I continued to do that for 20 years. I did that all over the world. I was in Rwanda during the genocide, helping refugees. I was in Sri Lanka during the tsunami, helping people there. And been to Haiti. Haiti was devastating to bring bodies out of buildings and to help the destitute and those that had lost in such a severe damage. And so then I did producing. I made a documentary. I wrote a book on my life story, Staying Alive, the paratrooper story, and that went all over the world. I went to 53 different countries, sharing my testimony, doing feeding programs in Africa, blankets, clothing programs, giving out Christmas gifts and Easter gifts, and sharing the good news, that I proclaimed in my heart, that peace had come, and goodness and kindness and long-suffering and all of those good things. And so Granger called me. He's written a book as well about his life story, and called 19 with a Bullet. He has another book as well. And he called me the other day and he said to me, Johnny, we've been seeing each other over this various times of years doing water jumps. And he said to me he's part of a veterans jumping group in America, and he would like to invite me to come and jump with him out of a helicopter into the water. And these are old Vietnam helicopters, always loved them, always wanted to be in one. And he said to me, that's not the only thing, is that I'm allowed to bring my son, Dylan, 20 years old, whose mother, his sister and his brother have all skydived, including me, and he's the only one. He couldn't at 16 during COVID, we couldn't go and skydive. And now he has an opportunity to jump with his father and his father's friend, the notorious Granger Korf. And so Dylan, as a young boy, he's a cinematographer now. As a young boy, he came to Africa. He was part of filming coelacanths in underwater and driving boats and vehicles and helping. And he gives his food away. He's always finding people to give food. And so he has a beautiful heart. And our intention is to go forth and to share our life stories with these people. But going to America, my plan and my mission is there's going to be 8 paratroopers that are all veterans, and 5 of them are bringing their sons, including me. And we're going to sit and we're going to talk about how do veterans cope with living after being released. Now, there's many, many veteran men, women out there today that don't know how to cope. I've been a veteran for over 40 years and I've had to cope. I know what it's like to go through trials and tribulations, having nobody there, and yet having many people there that have helped, and I do thank them for their help. But I'm looking to you today to help me to speak to the veterans, to give them a message of hope and encouragement, of love and of joy and of peace, to bring them the motivation to seek counsel, to interview professionals that they can speak and help these guys. Many of these guys are on the streets today in many cities in Western culture, and they don't know how to survive. So I'm asking you to help me to present them a way to help and to network with different groups and organizations so that we can go forward speaking to veterans. Not only veterans, but people that desire to know how to live life and how to be involved in situations, how to give and how to receive. And so as you give with me today, help me to make this video possible, this documentary about veterans in the world that are battling today to know the truth. And so partner with me, help Dylan and I to do this documentary. I've done previous documentaries, and so thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Click and share, and we'll be back with more information